Fonda attempts sci-fi in southern Idaho with a sophomore directorial effort that features a heaping helping of hippiness and not nearly enough pants. An underground survivalist sex cult masquerading as an environmental science project discovers a way to transport young, able-bodied hippies a whole 57 years into the future. That's right, they go all the way to 2030 and back in an ill-conceived scheme to repopulate the world to avert an unspecified eco-crisis, or is it eco-crisis?
Dad and Louis are trying to get it together to secretly transfer a lot of young people into the future, bypass the eco-crisis or whatever it is, start a new civilization.
Daddy can't come, huh?
Something to do with the kidneys.
The woefully unprepared draft-dodging time traveler set up a makeshift camp in the middle of the Craters of the Moon National Monument, which is full of jagged rocks, barren desert landscapes, an unforgiving climate, and occasionally dangerous animals. They are inexplicably surprised to learn that the desolate, inhospitable lava field in the future is just as desolate and inhospitable as it was in 1973. So they decide to hike about 600 miles from there to Portland, Oregon by way of Bruneau Sand Dunes. I guess Portland was spared total destruction in this world. Well, the repopulation plan goes to pot when it's learned that all the time traveling left them shooting blanks.
We're sterile.
Sterile who?
All of us. You.
But that's crazy.
They're also unable to return to the 70s, so they venture on to the hipster promised land. Along the way, they pick up a developmentally delayed girl.
Some are so retarded they can't even find food for themselves, but others give them enough to get by.
While casually discussing life's mysteries and skipping rocks.
It's out of it. A good rock. Stays up there a long time.
They just seem to be running out the clock, wandering around the desert until the baffling Soylent Green tinge conclusion.
What happens when we run out?
We just put one in. We won't need another for quite a ways.
There's a point to be made from all this, and it's in there somewhere. Suffice it to say, humankind is simultaneously impotent and boned. This bleak tone was a hallmark of 70s sci-fi that gave rise to a braless, nihilistic dystopia. Idaho Transfer had a somewhat interesting premise and a lofty concept that never really materialized. Time-traveling, pantsless co-eds forced to go on a post-apocalyptic backpacking expedition to Portland is filled with so many zany, adventurous, and sexy possibilities. We just didn't get any of that.
What are you doing up here in Idaho?
Well, it hasn't started yet. In about another couple of 3 weeks. Then we'll shoot on over and see what's going on. We've just been sleeping out, digging the stars, the trees, having a fine old time. We's gypsies. We ain't got a care in the world.
We get some mopey confusion, but it's set against some impressive Idaho landscapes, so there's that. Part of the problem was the cast. Well, most of them weren't actors in the traditional sense, or the metaphysical sense either. Peter Fonda picked them up seemingly at random to fill roles because they looked right or had the right aura, God only knows.
You might not have
and then there's
much
Keith
more time
Carradine, David's less famous brother. Except for David, all the other actors have this movie as their only acting credit. Given the minimalist script, the movie lived or died by the character dynamics and the drama imposed by the dire situation they found themselves in. So needless to say, the film quickly died after showing in theaters only briefly. It resurfaced on video in the 80s, and you can watch it on Prime Video today. It's pretty much public domain at this point, and you can watch it on YouTube for free, so no one really cares. But man, look at that gem state scenery. The Craters of the Moon Preserve looks like an alien world and could be used in just about any sci-fi movie today. The Bruneau Sand Dunes are some of the largest freestanding dunes in North America. These dramatic locations were used somewhat effectively in Idaho Transfer, but are deserving of a much better feature film. Say an Indiana Jones-style adventure, perhaps Mad Max, who's plucked out of the outback to fight marauders that are attacking an outpost defending a clean water reservoir. As I dream of the cinematic possibilities for southern Idaho, we'll just have to settle for Peter Fonda waxing philosophically about fossil fuels and toxic car culture or whatever.
We'll use each other as fuel.
If If you're into this type of sci-fi or wondering how radically different these areas were back in the 70s, spoiler alert, they're exactly the same, check this one out. It's not hard to find, and it provides a little best-of-the-worst entertainment as you chuckle at the performances.
She's being a bitch again.
And try your best to follow the story beats. Intoxicating substances are recommended, and they'll greatly assist you in that journey. So bottoms up and happy viewing.